Okay, in this video, we're gonna talk about something that we've never really talked about before.
Hands down, the question we get asked the most is what camera is best for a beginner? And we often give a pretty vague answer because the most important thing is getting started shooting with whatever you have available to you.
But in this video, we're gonna cover the basic criteria we look for in a camera for beginners and then try out the M200 mirrorless camera from Canon. Full disclosure, this video is sponsored by Canon. But like any other sponsored videos that we do, we only work with brands and products we'd genuinely recommend, even without a sponsorship.
So here's what we look for in a beginner camera. Our beginner camera checklist is interchangeable lenses. We want to be able to switch out lenses as needed.
Ability to shoot manual and RAW. This is key to learning your basics and getting the most out of your camera.
Solid autofocus. Cheaper cameras can struggle with autofocus, so finding a good entry-level camera with solid autofocus is hard to do, but immensely useful.
4K video capabilities. You might not be interested in video now, but the way things are headed, video is everywhere, and having a capable starter camera can save you money down the line.
Affordability. What's expensive to some may be cheap to others and vice versa, but most beginner cameras in the US are under $1,000, so below that is our target price range.
Canon sent us the EOS M200 content creator kit, so we're gonna see what kind of photos this camera is capable of capturing, and if it's a camera you should consider picking up for yourself. So before we go out and shoot with this camera, here's everything that it comes with. We have the Canon EOS M200 camera body, which shoots 24.1 megapixel photos with an APS-C sensor, has dual pixel autofocus with eye detection, it can shoot 4K video, and a 3-inch tilt-out LCD screen. Oh, and it's got a built-in flash, which we wouldn't normally use, but it's fun for that party flash look.
And it comes in a box with a Frenchie on it.
That's an added bonus.
Also included with this kit is a 15 to 45 millimeter lens, a tripod grip with a detachable Bluetooth remote, and a 32 gigabyte SD card. So it basically comes with everything you need to get up and running right from the box.
So for photography, we're gonna put this camera into manual mode so we can adjust all of the settings ourselves. If you don't know how to shoot in manual mode, we actually just put out a video last week covering everything you need to know to getting started shooting in manual.
We're also gonna shoot in RAW, so we'll have the highest quality files to edit at the end.
So we've shot with cheap cameras before and done a few videos with them, but these were in photo studios with models. And we realized most beginners don't have access to things like that. So this time we're gonna walk around the neighborhood, only shooting each other with the Canon M200 and the 15 to 45 millimeter kit lens. Also, we will shoot in the middle of the afternoon when the light is a little lower in the sky, but still pretty harsh.
No excuses. With this setup, the camera has an APS-C sensor, which means it's cropped when compared to a full-frame sensor. What this means for you is whatever focal length you shoot on this camera, multiply it by 1.6 to find its full-frame equivalent. If our go-to lens is a 35 millimeter, on this setup, we'd want the lens to be around 22 millimeters to get a similar look.
Let's go shoot. Okay, so now that we've spent time with the content creator kit, let's break down the pros and cons, starting with the pros. Hands down, our favorite part of this camera is the autofocus. It has dual pixel autofocus with eye detection, so this was super helpful for nailing focus when shooting portraits. We were really happy with how the photos turned out, and having the CR3 RAW files made the editing process exactly the same as our current workflow on higher end cameras.
The tiltable LCD screen was super handy, not just for vlogging or self-portraits, but also for shooting at lower angles. We could just tilt the screen up and we could see the frame and have easier access to all the settings.
Another one of the best aspects of this camera is it's just super easy to use. So the menu and interface are all touchscreen, so when you're starting out as a beginner, it's really easy to see the settings and then just tap to adjust them.
You also have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity for triggering the shutter release or hitting record, which is something we find ourselves using more and more on all of our cameras. And the camera, lens, and tripod are all super compact and lightweight.
Now for the cons. Like other crop sensor cameras, you do have more noise at higher ISOs and less shallow depth of field compared to a full frame camera.
The 4K video is great to have as well, but there is a 1.6 crop, which is the same on our EOS R camera, so we're already pretty used to that.
Now with this camera, there is no viewfinder, so that did throw us off at first, but we do shoot in live view often with our other cameras, so this is essentially just that.
In some ways, it reminded us of shooting on a phone because there's no viewfinder and it's small and compact. So it's probably a good segue from a phone if you haven't used another mirrorless or DSLR before.
Now there isn't an external microphone input or even a shoe mount on top, probably to keep the form factor small and compact. So even though we were just using the built-in mic, it did a pretty good job of just picking up my voice. Let's roll that footage. So one thing that I wanted to test that I didn't really get to test out yesterday was this built-in microphone, because it is kind of a windy day and there is no external mic input. So I want to see if it's okay for like vlogging purposes, if the audio comes through clearly and if there's too much wind noise, things like that. So it's I'm up here downtown LA. It's a little windy and it's not too loud out right now though. So I just kind of want to see how my voice picks up with the built-in microphone. Yesterday, when there was a little bit more wind, there were a few instances of the wind interfering with the audio. Let's play that back as well.
All right, so we're testing out the flip-up LCD with this tripod, see how well it works as like a vlogging camera. It's a bright sun right now, but looks like it's looking pretty good.
So if you're a beginner looking for your first camera, is this one that you should consider? We think so. It checks off everything we look for in a good beginner camera. You'll be able to shoot 24 megapixel RAW photos, use EF-M mount lenses, all with Canon's dual pixel autofocus. Even if you're just focusing on photography and not video, being able to shoot 4K video is super useful since many photographers are shooting both these days and able to charge clients more if they shoot video as well.
Thanks again to Canon for sponsoring this video. This entire content creator kit will be $50 off starting on November 22nd. Plus, if you use our promo code, you'll get a free Canon backpack like this with the purchase of a Canon camera on the Canon online store. Click the link in our description to check it out.
Like this video if you like $50 off.
Subscribe if you like backpacks.
Check out our new channels. Daniel's is about personal finance, mine's about personal fitness.
See you guys next week. It's on manual focus. It's just, no one knows that.
People know about makeup tutorials. It's a whole thing.
Are you happy with that backpack presentation, or should we do it again?
I think it's fine.